tuning in to this video for the solar readings overview. My solar readings is a monthly subscription where you get guidance for the entire solar month, and I'll cover what that is in just a moment. It is only $11.11 a month to receive this awesome 30-minute video of special guidance based on how the current solar month affects you and your chart. So I'm going to go into that in a little detail here, but you can sign up at devotedandvulnerable.com/services. So first, what is a reading? A reading is a way of using the sacred tools of the oracle cards and the tarot cards in order to get answers, to get clarity, to allow us to play a little game, a little card game with the universe, and tap into our own guidance from within ourselves and the guidance from our guides, from our gods, from our goddesses, from our ancestors, from whomever it is that we speak to outside of ourselves for love, support, and guidance. So it doesn't matter what your spiritual tradition or your beliefs are, this applies to anyone. Some people have a challenge with the cards because some religions are against card readings, and my simple basic answer for that is there was a time when it was any way that you could go to God or source from that didn't involve the church was looked down upon because the church wanted you to need them in order to reach God. Now, as we are evolving as a human species, we're going back to certain tools that allow us to access God in our homes and on our own terms. So that is a little part in there. So if you have resistance to the cards, that's something that I tell people who might have some resistance to working with the cards. The cards work based off of the understanding that the universe we live in is not random. So there is the trust in the unfolding when we're playing with the cards, that we trust that because we've set an intention, the card that comes through is going to answer the intention that we've set as close as it can out of all the cards in the deck. And that's how they work. That's the fun, that's the game that we are playing here. And there's many scientific studies that have been done where people and consciousness has interacted with a random program, and they've actually influenced the results of that program that align with their intentions. So my intentions for the readings are always to be aligned with your highest good and the highest good of all. So that's always my intention whenever I'm pulling cards, whenever I'm sharing guidance with people. But the other intention I have is that it guides you back to the wise, instinctive knowing that exists within yourself. So as you ask a question and you receive a card, you will also receive confirmation of whatever it was that you were asking for or whatever guidance you're looking for at this time. The intention is that you receive that guidance as a confirmation for what you kind of already knew, but you didn't really have that external validation that you were looking for. This kind of helps to provide the external validation for what you already know. I am not a psychic. I'm not tapping into on a psychic level what's going on for you, but I am intuitive. So I'm tapping into it on an intuitive level and trusting the cards to come through and trusting our intentions to come through. So the solar readings, we do an entire month's worth of readings. The readings change month to month based on the current solar sign. So the sun moves through signs basically within 4-week period. It's kind of like a month, except it doesn't follow the calendar month. Usually it happens between the 19th and the 20th, 21st of any given month, that the sun moves from one astrological sign to another astrological sign. So these solar readings are based on the fact that the sun is in one astrological sign, shining the light on this area of astrology for all of us. So you might not have been born under that sun sign, but you may have another planet in the sign that the sun is highlighting during the solar season of that sign. And so we, in our readings, are highlighting where that shows up. The readings are actually organized based on where this element shows up in your chart. So if you don't know where the planets were when you were born, there's a quick tutorial video that I created to help you find out that information. There should be a link popping up here, right here on this video, but also it should be in the description for you to take you to the how-to video to go through the quick steps. It's like a 5-minute video. It's like a 5-minute process. You just type in your birth data into cafeastrologies.com's free natal chart section, and then you get back the chart that'll show you where the planets were when you were born, meaning what astrological sign were the planets in when you were born. And in just a minute, I'm going to tell you how the planets influence our lives, and how the sign that they're in can influence that as well. So if you don't know your birth time, which you do need to know in order to get these planetary movements for you, planetary positions for you, I do also have a tutorial video on how to use a pendulum to dowse for your birth time. So that is a video that is also available to you, linked above and linked in the description as well. So let's talk about the planets. So the sun is the sign that the sun was in when you were born. That's the sign that most people know they are when you ask, like, what sign are you, okay? That's the astrological overview. I like to say that the sun sign is where you shine. So this is like what makes you shine, makes you glitter, makes you special. This is your shining energy. The moon was also in an astrological sign when you were born. So whatever sign the moon was in when you were born, that influences how your emotions work, how you emote, how your emotional world is colored and supported and navigated. That astrological sign that was in the moon when you were born rules over your emotional kingdom, your emotional world. The sign that Mercury was in when you were born rules over how you communicate. So this is how you speak to others, how you speak to yourself, how you enjoy expressing yourself. This is your planet of communication. So whatever astrological sign it was in, this is the way that you communicate. Venus is the sign of love and money. So this rules over your romantic relationships and your relationship to financial abundance. So it's interesting and fun to know where Venus was, what sign it was in when you were born, because that sign is really going to color and influence your romantic life and your financial abundant life. Mars is the planet that rules over your actions. So it can be how you instinctually act to things, but it also can be how you best take action in the world. So once you've moved on from just reacting to things, you also can just use this sign to understand how you want to move and take action in the world. The planet of Jupiter rules over your hopes and your dreams. So this is what makes you hopeful and what makes you grateful, and this is the sign that rules that part of your chart. So as you're dreaming, as you're hoping, as you're feeling gratitude for things, the things you feel gratitude for are going to be aligned with the characteristics of the astrological sign you were born in. Then we have Saturn. Saturn is the planet of discipline. And discipline does not mean punishment. It does mean routine, structure, practicality. So the planet that the astrological sign that Saturn was in when you were born is going to influence how you discipline yourself, how you structure your life, the kind of characteristics of which you structure your life. Then there's Neptune. Nope. Then there's Uranus. Uranus is the planet that rules over how you expand, how you evolve, how you grow, how you expand in this world. So you expand through the characteristics of whatever astrological sign Uranus was in when you were born. Then there's Neptune. Neptune rules over how you connect to your source. So whatever you call your source, God, goddess, angels, ancestors, guardians, or fairies, your higher self, star family, mythological creatures, doesn't matter what you call source. Neptune is going to be the position of how you connect to source. So whatever astrological sign Neptune was in when you were born colors the way that you connect to source most easily. Then there's Pluto. So Pluto is going to show you how your inner child is. It can also be the unconscious and the ego, but I like to think of it more as the inner child. So whatever planet Pluto, whatever astrological sign Pluto was in when you were born, that is going to be how your inner child acts and reacts to things. Then we have the ascending sign, or known as the rising sign. This is the sign that was on the horizon when you were born. In this planetary makeup, I like to think of it as the Earth sign. that you were born in. This is what you came to schoolroom Earth to learn. So this is like the lessons, the classes that you're in right now is your ascending sign. That's how you're learning. Last but not least, you could not have any planets in the current solar sign. So none of the planets, and not your ascending, not the moon, none of those aspects could be in the sign that we're currently celebrating and shining the light on. Now, I've come to change how I understand this aspect. So if you have no planets and no ascending or moon in the current solar sign, then we have what's called the unfocused energy. So this is like the background of everything in your life. It's kind of like a play, right? Where the planets are going to be the characters and the players and how things evolve. And the unknown element, the one that's not defined, the one that doesn't have a planet or a character, that is like the backdrop. It's still present in your life. It's still in the background of everything that you do, but it's not like a main player. So that could be true for you as well. So here's the thing. There's 12 readings. Whenever we do a solar shift, you're going to consult your chart. You're going to look at the current solar sign, and you're going to find out where it aligns in your chart, what planet was in. It might have been in more than one planet in your chart. So you may have, in any given month, more than one reading. If you didn't have it show up in any of the planets, that's what the unfocused reading is for. That's what the one for the no focus in the sign is. That would be the reading for you that month. But again, you could have multiple readings because you could have multiple planets in the same astrological sign. The reason that I've organized it this way is because we really get to highlight where these aspects are showing up in your chart, so you can understand a little bit more about your own energetic makeup and the influences that are going on in your life. And it's a way for me to organize and intend the information that comes through for you. We don't do specific readings based specifically on how the element shows up in your chart, but do an overview for you on things to look out for before I dive into the reading. Normally there's like a general part of the reading. If there's anything astrologically significant going on, I'll do a reading for that. There's typically a moon part of the reading, but I am recording this as a general, and so this service is going to continue to evolve, so I can't promise what's going to be in there, but I can promise a good 25 to 45 minutes of information that's going to be supporting you for your solar month. Now, I always recommend that you watch these readings with a journal, because the intent for these readings, as we said, is to align with your own knowing, your own understanding. So when I do a reading, this is my process. So I'm going to share with you what my process is and invite you into that. I always set a special sacred space for me. I call it a ceremony. Like I have my drink that I love, I have my elements here that I call in, or you could have a picture of whatever deity you believe in, and you can say a prayer before you go into it, light your incense, whatever process you have. I invite you to sit down with your readings in a way, in a place that feels special, and in a manner that feels special to you. Of course, with your journal, if that feels right to you. Because the journal, what I do is I write down what the card was, what it was answering, what the reader shared, the information that they shared, their own intuitive guidance that they shared, and then I write down what my interpretation is, what came through for me. Because as you look at a card, there might be an association that you have with a symbol, let's say, on the card that I didn't know that you had an association with, but it's reminding you of your grandma. That's information for you. That's the guidance from your higher self coming through and interacting with this fun card game that we're playing here. So I want you to be able to have a place to write that down. I always recommend pausing the videos and writing things down as they come through for you, and also taking the really powerful affirmations home with you. So when I say take it home with you, what I do when I do a reading is I'll take notes on the reading, and then I'm going to get my index cards out, and I'm going to write down the affirmation that's most important. Then I'm going to write down the cards that came through, and every morning and every night I review that information so that I can stay on point throughout my month and really synthesize the information and integrate it into my life. That is the solar reading overview. That is everything that I have to share with you, except a thank you. Thank you for watching this video, regardless of whether you support me, and thank you for supporting me if it feels aligned to you. Again, it's devotedandvulnerable.com/services to sign up for the solar readings. only $11.11 a month. You'll get a welcome email. The welcome email will show you, take you through the steps on how to access those videos. And if you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to me. I am available to answer questions and to help you navigate these readings as they are coming through. They're always released on or before the solar shifts. So the solar shifts, like I said, happen somewhere between the 18th, 19th, 20th, 21st of every month. And I will send out an email to those who are subscribed, letting you know that they've been posted when the solar shift happens. I always recommend watching them as soon as you can to when the solar shift happens, only because it helps you to capitalize on the information for the entire solar shift and really highlight the energy of the current solar moment. As always, Namaste. The universal light within me salutes and honors the universal light